can't see, real. So here we are, March 12th, day 25 of our homeless journey, thanks to Dick Aker for pointing a gun at me, threatening my life, thereby committing felonious assault and domestic violence yet again, for a fourth time in 8 months. And thanks be to the Clinton County Sheriff's Department for continuing to refuse to file charges against Dick Aker for said charges. However, I do thank the Clinton County Sheriff's Department for blessing me with this big old honking truck through a bribe that they negotiated between my dad and I. Yeah, a bribe where I agreed to remove the Facebook post where I had outlined him as being a child molester. And in return, he would give me $2,500 in this big old honking yellow truck. They actually asked that I remove, or that I drop the charges of felonious assault and domestic violence, but I refused. And now, since this has become a legal matter, I refuse to remove the post from Facebook, because doing so would actually be destroying criminal evidence. It would be a crime of destroying evidence. Oh. And although I'm not a criminal like Dick Aker is, my criminal record does reflect something different, such that I'm guilty of criminal trespassing in 2010, which is a charge I pleaded guilty to out of love for the man that I was dating at the time, because I was feeding horses that I believed were abused or neglected. But bottom line is, they were starving, their ribs were showing, they were standing in more than 2 foot of feces, manure, and the dilapidated stalls that they were stuck in, with holes so big that they could stick both their heads through one of them, and the little quarter horse, whose ribs were showing, who clearly wasn't being fed, and there was no evidence whatsoever, not a single grain of feed, not a single piece of straw, and not a single ounce of water in the dilapidated old building where the horses were being stalled and obviously neglected. But they happened to be my boyfriend's next door neighbors, so out of love for him, I agreed to accept whatever charges they handed down to me, which were criminal trespassing. Although under revised code, Ohio revised code 171713, I had every legal right to provide life-sustaining services to them, such as food and water. However, the Claremont County Humane Society took 4 days to investigate the case, kind of like they had just done for the last 10 months, in a case where 16 horses had died on a property in Bethel, Ohio, which I'm guessing is why they might have been a little upset with me for reporting yet another case of horse neglect. Anyway, long story short, I accepted the charges of criminal trespassing just to appease my boyfriend at the time, but I was obviously within my legal right of Ohio Revised Code 171713 of providing life-sustaining food and water to animals which were being neglected. And in fact, I had the legal authority to remove the horses from the property, but I chose not to do so. And then my other charge that's on my record is possession. You're going to love this one. The other charge that's on my record, my criminal record, is possession of drug paraphernalia. Yes, I'm guilty of having drug paraphernalia, as I was performing a ceremony to the Great Spirit in accordance to my native religion at the Elick Mound at East Fork State Park, in December of 2014. Again, I was performing a Native American celebration to the Great Spirit at the Elick Mound at East Fork State Park, and shortly thereafter, the park ranger followed me and did another illegal search and seizure of my car and of my peace pipe that I had obviously used to perform the celebration to the Great Spirit. They also confiscated the beautiful vulture wings that I had been blessed with by the Great Spirit that I had used to perform the ceremony around the Elick burial mound. And although I was, again, within my legal rights of practicing my First Amendment rights of being Native American, which obviously you can kind of tell that, yes, I am part Native American, and yes, I do practice that spirituality, and I was well within my First Amendment rights, and I am a member of the Native American Church who uses cannabis to perform ceremony to the Great Spirit, and it is against federal law for any state or federal agency to interfere with my religion. But again, I pleaded guilty out of love. This time it was out of love for my dog. Yeah, I'm baby girl. Because the last time I fought Claremont County Sheriff, the sheriff in Claremont County, my poor dog got kicked upside the head with a steel-toe boot and it almost killed her. That was back when I was, feeding the starving horses, the horses that were definitely neglected and were clearly without food and water for at least 3 days, the 3 days that I was there caring for them. So, out of fear of her being abused again or killed this time, I went ahead and agreed to the charges of possession of drug paraphernalia. Just know that drug paraphernalia was, in fact, a peace pipe that I was using to perform my Native American religion to the Great Spirit. But at the end of the day, I do thank Clinton County Sheriff's Department, again, for this big old honking yellow truck and the $2,500 that's funding our homeless journey until they decide to get their act together and press the charges of felonious assault and domestic violence against Dick Aker for at least one occasion. Possibly, if I press this issue, I'm going to go ahead and press for all 4. He'll be locked up for a good old long time, which is what the bastard deserves. But anyway, I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to live in desperation. And we are going to embrace this day and live in faith and hope and joy and celebrate this beautiful day that the Great Spirit, God, has blessed us with. Because I know that I serve a far greater God than Satan could ever dream of being. And again, I'll say, Clinton County Sheriff's Department, Dick Aker, karma is a real bitch. And justice will prevail. Thank you and God bless. It's getting a lot old.